After studying this module, you shall be able to know about crime and criminal behavior, psychological theories for criminal behavior, and various psychological factors affecting criminal behavior. Crime is a particularly interesting problem because it is in many respects the observer's, means the flip side, of altruism. This statement is exclusively true when we describe crime in terms of behavior wherein individuals obtain resources from others via force, fraud, or stealth. In order for people to reap the full benefits of group cooperation and division of labor, they sometimes must subordinate their personal interests to those of others, occasionally in dramatic fashion. Acts of altruism cost a person more than what he or she gains. Criminal acts do just the opposite. Individuals committing such acts intentionally will harm others for their own gain. Of course, sometimes altruism on a small scale is necessary to execute predatory crime and criminality strategies against the larger societies. Criminal conspiracies may enjoin considerable self sacrifice on the part of gang members who were caught. Legally, crimes usually are defined as acts or omissions forbidden by law that can be punished by imprisonment and or by fine. Murder, robbery, burglary, rape, drunken driving, child neglect, and failure to pay your taxes all are common examples. However, as several eminent criminologists recently have noticed, example Sampson and Loeb 1993, Gottfriedson and Heredity 1990, the key to understanding crime is to focus on fundamental attributes of all criminal behaviors rather than on specific criminal acts. Instead of trying to separately understand crimes such as homicide, robbery, rape, burglary, embezzlements, and heroin use, we need to identify what it is they all have in common. There are various theories about what causes crime. First is choice theory, second, biological theories, next, psychological theories, next is sociological theories, another one is conflict theories, next is integrated theories, and the last one is victimization theories. Psychological factors are the result of interactions between biological and socio-cultural factors, but it is time that we turn our attention to the genuine, fundamentally antisocial criminal. The usual idea, and one shared by a number of analysts, is that the genuine criminal is lacking in moral students and normal inhibitions and can be restrained from antisocial activities only by external pressure. In my view, things are not so simple. It seems to me that it would be more accurate to say that the criminal has no satisfactory emotional relations and therefore no consideration for others. Make things of physical pleasures the center of his interest and suffers from an overwhelming need for immediate satisfaction with no thought of the future. Children handed over from foster parents to foster parents learn to avoid becoming attached to and placing reliance on people and to derive all the pleasure from food and material things. Money takes for them the place of an ideal parent. It procures everything they want, protects them, feeds them, never fails them, and makes no demand on them. A child who has experienced little satisfaction in emotional contact with his mother, but whose main source of happiness has been the physical contact of feeding, will very likely in later life seek pleasure and comfort either in alcohol or in adult type of physical satisfaction detached from any love relationship in promiscuous intercourse. This development can often be observed in illegitimate children and others who have never had the opportunity of forming stable relations with loved persons. Others are brought to the same pass as a result of giving up emotional relations which they have found too painful and disappointing. Criminal behavior is the product of a systematic process that involves complex interactions between individuals, societal, and ecological factors over the course of our lives. In other words, from conception onwards, the intellectual, emotional, and physical attributes we develop are strongly influenced by our personal behaviors and physical processes, interactions with the physical environment, and interactions with other people, group, and institutions. These systematic processes affect the transmission from generation to generation of traits associated with increased involvement in crime. Now, the psychological theories. According to psychological theories of crime, the difference in individuals' thinking process results in criminal behavior. There are various psychological theories, but according to all the theories, a person's actions are reflection of his/her thoughts and feelings. So, the problems in thinking can lead to criminal behavior. Since ancient times, people have tried to explain the cause of antisocial behavior, including crime. In late 17th century, Europeans considered that crime and sin are the same thing and believed that assumed that evil spirits possessed those who do not follow rules or conform to social norms. By 21st century, various other factors were also explained by criminologists that why a person would commit crimes. These factors include social, economic, and psychological. Some people consider a life of crime better than a regular job. Most of the time, combination of these factors lead a person to commit crime. Greed, anger, revenge, jealousy, or pride can be reasons for committing crime. Some people plan everything before committing crime to minimize the risk and maximize the gain. Those who find little of crime better than a regular job till they get caught assume that crime brings them admiration, greater rewards, and excitement. Other people get adrenaline rush when they carry out a dangerous crime successfully. Some people commit crimes on impulse, in anger or fear. Property crimes occur because of the desire for material gain. Robberies, white collar crimes, theft, etc. are included in property crimes. The desire for control, revenge, or power leads to violent crimes such as murders, assaults, and rapes. These crimes occur at that very moment due to high run of emotions. Most of the property crimes are pre-planned. Now, various psychological factors affecting criminal behavior. There are various factors which affect the criminal behavior of a person. According to various theories, crime is a result of: one is parental relations. In 1980s, Chickley ideas on sociopathy were adopted to describe the pattern of violence found in family histories or a cycle of violence. A cycle of violence means that if a person grows up in an environment with abuse and antisocial behavior, then he or she will often follow the same pattern with his or her children. Neglected or abused children are more likely to commit crimes in their later life as compared to others. Sometimes being a victim of sexual abuse in childhood often lead these victims to become sexual predators as adults. Many people on death row have childhood with some type of severe abuse. The cycle of violence and crime keeps repeating itself. This concept of cycle of violence has a positive counterpart. Sometimes children who have been in an antisocial environment may have supportive and loving parents who fulfill their child's basic needs and inculcate self-confidence in them, as well as interest in social environments. These children get adjusted in society easily and are less likely to commit crimes. Earlier, in late 20th century, crime was considered to be willful action and not a psychological behavior. But in 21st century, psychological factors behind some crimes are widely considered. Now, the second is heredity and brain activity. Studies on antisocial personality disorders and their influence over crime in twins and adopted children were conducted in 1980s. Identical twins have exactly same genetic makeup. It has been observed that similar criminal behavior is almost twice in identical twins as compared to fraternal twins. Fraternal twins have similar genes but not identical similar to any other two siblings. Some researchers indicated that adopted children had greater similarities of crime rates to their biological parents than their adoptive parents. Genetic basis for criminal behavior can be established from these researches. Search for biological cause of criminal behavior has become easier with new advances in medical technology. A psychologist, Robert Hare, in 1986 identified a connection between brain activity and criminal behavior. According to his observations, criminals has less brain reactions to dangerous situations than most of the people. Such brain functions make criminals stubborn and do not fear of any punishment as compared to others. With advanced technologies like CT scans, MRI, etc., connection between brain activity and tendency to commit crime can be tested. Various neurochemicals play an important role in influencing criminal behavior. Neurochemicals are substances released by brain to trigger various body activities and hormones. According to previous studies, it has been observed that increase in level of neurochemical serotonin decreases aggression. It is a substance produces central nervous system which affects emotional state of an individual. Higher level of dopamine, another neurochemical produced by brain, results in increased aggression. It affects heart rate and blood pressure. It was observed that people who commit violent crimes have low level of serotonin and higher level of dopamine. It has also been observed in past researches that even body size can influence the effects of neurochemicals and behaviors which may result in criminal tendencies. Now the next is hormones. Substances produced inside the body which affect the functioning of body organs are known as hormones. Relationships between some hormones like testosterone and cortisol and criminal behavior have been studied by researchers. Development of masculine body traits is carried out by sex hormones secreted by male sex organs. Processing of food by digestive is affected by cortisol produced by adrenal glands located next to kidneys. The level of cortisol gets high in body leading to more supply of glucose to the brain for greater energy in situations like danger or stress. Aggression and high level of testosterone are strongly linked. Increased level of testosterone can lead to higher chances of criminal behavior. Cortisol can also be linked to criminal behavior. Physical activeness and sharp attention is observed in people with high level of cortisol, whereas short attention spans and lower activities level were seen in people with low level of cortisol. These low level of cortisols are often linked with antisocial behavior including crime. According to previous studies, it has been observed that low level of cortisol were present in violent criminals. Low level of this hormone numb an offender to the usual fear which is associated with committing a crime and getting caught. Isolation of brain activity from social and psychological factors as well as effects from parental relations, education and substances of abuse is difficult. Now the fourth is education. Most of the time low education level lead the person towards crime. According to Merton's earliest sociological theories, a survey was conducted among inmates of state prisons in 1990s, which showed that most of them were less educated. Many of them could not write or read above basic elementary school levels. Robbery, burglary, shoplifting, drug trafficking, and automobile theft are the most common crime committed by such people. Due to low education level, they were not able to earn well. Most of the time, they were offered low wage jobs with frequent periods of unemployment. Criminal activity cannot be reduced by employment with minimum wage or below living salary. Even with government provided amenities, lower salary does not provide basic needs. Such people make choice between continued long-term low income job and profitable crime. Getting further education can improve the condition, but it can be expensive and time consuming. Chance of getting a better job is increased with higher education, but it does not overcome the effects of abuse, poverty and other factors. Now the next is peer influence. The company a man keeps strongly affects and influences the thinking of that person. A decision to commit crime is highly influenced by a person's peer group. Those young girls and boys which do not fit the expected standards in academics or sports or social programs can sometimes become lost in the competition. Children from families who cannot afford adequate clothing or school supplies can also tend towards crime. These youth may also leave their classmates and join an antisocial gang to earn respect and street credibility in different manner. These criminal gangs are mainly focused on material gain. Theft, fraud, extortion, etc. are some of the methods undertaken by these gangs to achieve it. Now the sixth is drugs and alcohols. Various social factors strongly influence a person's choice to make choices. One of such factors is drugs and alcohol. People start committing crimes to support their drug habits. This drug habit impairs their potential of decision making. Both alcohol and drugs affect judgment and reduces inhibitions and give offenders greater courage to commit a crime. Substance abuses triggers stranger violence. Stranger violence is a crime committed by a person in which the victim has no relationship with the attacker. Alcohol is one such substance which triggers this. Such cases can occur at public places where attackers and victims can be at the same time. According to previous researches, it has been revealed that 30 to 50% of violent crimes like murder, sexual assault, etc. were committed by people who consumed alcohol or used drugs. Influence of drugs or alcohol even make victim more prone to such criminal attacks because of being less attentive or visiting a scheduled area to purchase drug. Various rehabilitation centers are present for treatment of addicts as alcohol or drug abuses affects a person's life adversely. Treatments in rehabilitation centers focuses on positive support to influence a person's future decision making and to reduce the tendency for antisocial and criminal behavior. Now, the summary. Crime is a particularly interesting problem because it is in many respects the observes means the flip side of altruism. People who commit these acts intentionally harm others for their own gain. Murder, robbery, burglary, rape, drunken driving, child neglect, and failure to pay your taxes all are common examples. There are various theories about what causes crime, like choice theory, biological theories, psychological theories, sociological theories, conflict theories, integrated theories, and victimization theories. Psychological factors are the result of interactions between biological and sociocultural factors. Criminal behavior is the product of a systematic process that involves complex interactions between individual, societal, and ecological factors over the course of our lives. According to psychological theories of crime, the difference in individuals' thinking process results in criminal behavior. In late 17th century, Europeans considered that crime and sins are the same thing and believed that assumed that evil spirits possess those who do not follow rules or conform to social norms. Greed, anger, revenge, jealousy, or pride can be reasons for committing crime. Property crimes occur because of the desire for material gain. Neglected or abused children are more likely to commit crimes in their later life as compared to others. It has been observed that similar criminal behavior is almost twice in identical twins as compared to fraternal twins. A psychologist, Robert Hare, in 1986 identified a connection between brain activity and criminal behavior. Various neurochemicals play an important role in influencing criminal behavior. It has been observed that increase in the level of neurochemical serotonin decreases aggression. High level of dopamine, another neurochemical produced by brain, result in increased aggression. The level of cortisol gets high in the blood, leading to more supply of glucose to the brain for greater energy in situations like danger or stress. Aggression and high level of testosterone are strongly linked. Cortisol can also be linked to criminal behavior. These low levels of cortisol are often linked with antisocial behavior, including crime. According to previous studies, it has been observed that low levels of cortisol were present in violent crimes. Most of the times, low education level leads the person towards crime. The company a man keeps strongly affect and influence the thinking of that person. People start committing crimes in support to their drug habits. Both alcohol and drugs affects judgment and reduces inhibitions and give offenders greater courage to commit a crime. According to previous researches, it has been revealed that 30 to 50% of violent crimes like murder, sexual assaults, etc. were committed by people who consumed alcohol or used drugs.